Good evening, everybody. We are back with some patch note versions, if you will, of the early access roadmap update that the Artificial Core put together for Corepunk. We've got a lot of things to go over, a lot of exciting stuff. I haven't been playing for the last couple of days. I'm kind of burnt out. I've gotten several characters to max level over the last several tests, and I really just kind of need more content. Without further ado, let's jump right in. Big announcement, progress wipe adjustment. They did delay the progress wipe for 2 weeks and is now scheduled for September 16th. The delay allows for further testing and improvement of the key game systems using the accumulated player data. Some of these being the duping that's been going on that was found, as well as some of the, I wouldn't say abuse, but some of the bugs found for stacking health regen, stacking items properly, as well as stacking passive talents. So what's nice though is on September 16th we should be seeing some new stuff. We should be seeing a new zone with the potential of a dungeon. More on that later. Ongoing development updates. Server stability remains top of their list. Significant improvements have already been made to the server stability, and I will vouch for that. I definitely think it's getting better. It's not perfect, but with the 24/7 live ops that they've been getting on there to address server issues when they do pop up, has definitely helped reduce lagginess, sharding issues, as well as the ability to actually log into the game and play. So I want to say the last time they reset NA Central, we were down for like 9 minutes outside of the 1 hour stabilization patch they deployed. So that's really good. Obviously, another big thing they're looking at is reducing the technical issues and downtime with further optimization planned prior to early access, which still today is planned for Thanksgiving week. Actually, I believe it's the day after Thanksgiving. So, really big news here. Really big news. Combat responsiveness and tactile feedback. They are performing an entire major overhaul of the combat system. That's going to change things significantly. They're making adjustments to almost every ability to enhance responsiveness and tactile feedback, as well as it's expected to be completed within the 2 weeks before they wipe again. This first GIF right here, and a lot of these pictures I pulled from their official announcement, but I figured it'd be nice to put it in kind of a patch notes format. This is how it stands today. This is the Destroyer. Doing a lot of auto attacks. Your cooldowns are on cooldown all the time, and your abilities can't be used a lot. We're talking anywhere from 8 to 20 seconds to a minute for some ultimates to 2 minutes for some ultimates. So as you can see, it's kind of clunky. It's a little slow. We scroll down here to this bad boy here, and he's using his Q quite a bit. Now, I'm not seeing any of his mana go away, and I don't know if that's because of it's a dev testing it, right, and it just is what it is. But as you see, he just keeps using that Q. Like, it's not going down. That responsiveness is nice. The attack, the auto attack following it up is nice. I like the combos they're throwing in there. So I'm really excited to see what they do as far as balance between the heroes with this type of new mechanic of combat as a whole, as well as staggering abilities with your auto attacks. Kind of, Q in, auto attack W, Q in, or Q out W, etc., etc. So I really like to see what this does for the Infiltrator and the Ranger in particular for the upcoming wipe. Some big quest improvements, extensive improvements and additions for quests coming out. They didn't say a number of how many are coming out, but we'll be seeing there in the next couple of weeks. Updated quest objectives for smoother gameplay, as well as revised quest rewards to better prepare players for endgame content. That is huge. The first mission you do was originally giving you, I think this is Butch O'Hara. It is Butch O'Hara. The end of his quest line gave you an implant, and it was just a basic common tier 1 implant. And now they're moving it down to where you get weapons and a shield, or a shield potentially. So that's going to be huge. I know they are focusing on getting us ready to level entirely on questing as opposed to just hitting rocks and trading and crafting. Which, don't get me wrong, I like that aspect of the game, but there also needs to be another avenue to take for players to choose their adventure in the MMO and how to level up. Whether it's slower or faster, I think is kind of irrelevant, but I think the reward balance should be the same based off of which systems you want to go through, or a mix of systems to kind of break up the monotony of just hitting rocks for 5 hours. Here's big news. Open world content and new location. Continued polishing of the open world, focusing on dynamic content, of course. It's great. Hopefully they nerfed Raptor, because Raptor don't play no shit. We need to work on monsters and bosses are ongoing, which I'm really excited for there. This is the big one. New open world dungeon. That is interesting to me. How is an open world dungeon going to work, first and foremost? We'll wait and see. However, the steps are in development, featuring a new biome, elite mobs, bosses, resources, NPCs, and quests. And as you see, this is the northern portion of Goldenfield Westwind Woods, or I'm sorry, Windreach. And here's part of the swamp that comes up, the little NV farming spot, and then where the frogmen are at, coming up here into the north. So we are getting a huge addition to the map here with this getting thrown in. This is probably the entire size of what we did in Alpha 100, maybe even larger. So I'm guessing it's going to be Westwind, Windreach, Sunweave, Dusktide, Goldenfield, probably combined. Throwing this up here and a little larger, maybe throwing in the PvP zones that are down south as well, to make up this entire geographical footprint. So really excited to see what we get for that in the coming weeks. Itemization overview. Each primary stat, which we have 7, attack power, spell power, health, mana, armor, magic resist, heal power, and shield power, has corresponding crafting resources now. Different resources required for crafting tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3 artifacts, with epic resources dropping from the world bosses in the steps. And I'm really excited to see how that plays out. A good example of this is tier 1 attack power artifact, which I believe is the biosteroid, costs, a gonad and a bio, right? So it's an uncommon and a common crafting tier. Tier 2 is going to require a petrified spike, as they had said, potentially in their release notes, and a tier 3 artifact for attack power is going to require blood honey. So I'm really excited to see where that goes. Synthesis machine, this is really exciting too. Expanded a lot of crafting options and reduced the randomness with new consumables, added functionality for upgrading items, re-rolling stats and creating advanced items, ability to change skin colors and upgrade skin quality. Also, new hidden recipes and consumables are being added regularly. Here's an example of all the items, of getting their craftable in there to get their special item. It looks like there's 2 or 3 different tiers of an upgrade artifact. Looks like they've got a mana booster, a couple armor, 3 armors, and I want to say that's spell power, and then I don't know what these 2 are off the top of my head. Magic circle maybe, upgraded version, and then the synthesis fuel. And as we see down here, we see an upgraded cyber biker arm. And this is kind of big. 13 attack power, 203 mana. That 203 mana is kind of mid, but that 13 attack power is a little low. But then you get corruption points. Still don't know what those do. Flat magic penetration, which is huge if you're going to magic build. Magic penetration points in addition to that to help build it up, as well as mana regen. So this is a really nice item. I don't know if I would use it on a warmonger per se. But, we'll see how that goes. It is a tier 2 though, which is nice. So it's an epic tier 2. Moving along, another big update I'm very excited to play around with. Gameplay of passive talent branches. Upgrades to passive talent branches unlocking special consumable recipes at tier 5. That's pretty cool. Introduction of active abilities tied to specific passive branches or combinations, allowing further character customization. Example being, you choose Warrior as your passive. At level 5, you'll be able to unlock one of, maybe not all, not quite sure how it's supposed to work, but you'll get some sharpening stones that increase weapon damage by, based off of quality of what you use or penetration, 2, 5, 7, 9 respectively. The mystic sharpening stones, which is going to add to your auto attack 1, 2, 3, 4% respectively, damage from your spell power that you stack. Blood war paint, basic attacks have 1, 2, 3, 4% chance based on tier, chance to cause fear for 0.5 to 1.5 seconds. That's pretty huge when you're starting to get into multiple mobs. The War Banner increase the damage of all allies from all sources in the area of effect of the flag by 1, 2, and 4% respectively. That's pretty cool. Down to tank, we get the armor spikes, the magic armor spikes, the magic barrier kit, and the armor kit. 100 stacks of incoming physical damage back to the attackers as physical damage based off of percentage of tier, or make the aura 10 minutes where all nearby enemies receive 0.2, 0.3, 0.5% respectively per second, or reflect mob auto attack 1, 2, 3% of your armor as physical damage, and the magic armor spike doing the same thing but with spell damage. You get the magic barrier kit. Remove stack for hit, gives 5, 10, 15 magic resist, or increases the magic resist indicator by 10% from all artifacts that have an armor value. I'm not quite sure what that's supposed to mean, but we'll roll with it, okay? Granted, there's been a lot of stuff lost in translation. They've been updating as it goes. I'm not too worried about it. Sounds cool. Same with the armor over here. This one does magic resist, this one does armor, respectively, based off the tier. Hunter, this is one I'm really excited for as playing an infiltrator or hunter. Or, I'm sorry, archer. The invisible trap stops whoever steps on it for this amount of seconds, I assume is what it's supposed to say, respective of the quality. Crippling trap, the one who steps on the effect of bleeding, is applied by percentage, respectively, for 20 seconds. Scare trophy, for 2, 3, or 5 minutes, respective to the tier, of course. Mobs 1 level A lower NAD equal. Mobs 1 level lower and equal to 1 level higher will not aggro. That's pretty good if you're going crafting and whatnot, or you're just trying to get from point A to point B without pulling stuff. That's real nice. And then the Hunter Elixir, increase attack speed by 5% and slows enemies' attack speed by 5%. I think 5% is probably going to be like a max tier, and there's going to be 1.5, 3, 5% based off of the tier, respectively. But that wasn't really put out here. So going down to Mage, we got the traps. I believe these two aren't updated properly because it says slow trap and it summons a campfire for 20 seconds. So I assume this is probably, summon fire or campfire. That's what I would guess. Summons a campfire for 20 seconds. I take it that's probably food regen, maybe 50, 75, 100%. Crippling trap, magical food disappears after 1, 3, 5 minutes from inventory. This is probably, make food and drink, or something similar to that. Orb of arcane power, each basic attack deals 1, 2, 3% respective to tier, additional damage per stack of our maximum mana. And then Orb of magic fire, enemies who deal damage to you receive 0.1, 0.2, 0.3% respective of tier of damage over time based on spell power. Each attack takes 0.1 mana from us, or from us, if you will. So that's pretty neat. Coming down the Pathfinder, probably the most used passive in the game, even without playing solo, is Traveler's Campfire. You can cook one dish like a cooking table recipe. Looks like a pot and a regular fire. And then the transparent campfire, you and your ally are invisible until campfire ends if no one moves. Transparent leaf and a regular fire there. Content and active development. PvP full loot instance. This is pretty cool. I'm excited for this. I don't think it's going to be the focal point as we move through early access. I think it's a really neat addition, but open world PvP is not what this game is for. I'm going to say that again. People that are coming here to do open world PvP, you're going to be disappointed, I think, in a year or two as the game evolves and releases more content. I think that's going to probably be one of the deadest options of leveling or of gathering or of getting loot out there. But, there's a big but here. The gameplay videos we saw when Corepunk was announced, prior to COVID, prior to the invasion, all the cool things we saw, Kamikaze Camp Stealers, baby, coming up on a team that's halfway done with the boss, and you just jump in and murder them and then take the boss. Not only do you take all the boss stuff, you take all their shit, and then you get out. There's no better feeling than that when you're playing with a group, in my opinion. So it's pretty neat. I think it's a good balance between PvE and PvP, but again, I don't think it's going to be very popular in the long run. With that being said, what is it? Well, development of a closed island PvP instance where players risk losing everything upon death. Everything. Everything in your inventory will be lost upon death. I think that's great. It's a high-risk, high-reward environment filled with dangerous enemies and valuable loot. And it's planned for testing in this Alpha Test 4. So we are going to be able to experience this option to level, to grind, to get mats, to farm prior to the end of October. Now, I hope we get it sooner rather than later so we can debug it a little bit more. But I'm very excited to see where this goes. PvE instances, personal and group dungeons in development featuring biome-specific mobs and bosses. That's really cool. What they mean by personal is, in their announcement they stated, dungeons can be done solo or in a group. I assume there's probably going to be reduced rewards and reduced experience by doing the dungeon solo, and you'll get more by doing it in a group. But no details on that have been released as of yet. There will be rewards based on dungeon completion speed and efficiency. I like that. And the big thing for you traditional MMO players, some of you WoW players, some of you Diablo, 3, Diablo 4 players, future a fixed system to add difficulty variations and additional rewards. I think that's going to be an awesome addition as teams that want to focus on PvE can focus on clearing high level, high affix, dungeons where it's difficult. Everyone's got to be perfect. You got to min-max. There's got to be good communication while reaping more rewards. I think that's also a good way to get people to participate in the economy to where they can start charging people materials or carries or anything else in a different content to get them through. So I'm really excited for that. Now, on to the two biggest things that I'm excited about and a lot of my friends are excited about. Battlegrounds. That, to me, is step one of getting this game to where it needs to be. Battlegrounds. 2 Battlegrounds planned by early access or shortly after. Very excited to test it. I really wish they introduced it in alpha so we didn't have to debug it in the middle of early access. But I'm not going to complain. The plan's there. They know when they want to do it. I'm cool with that. 12v12 capture and hold 5 points. Kind of a domination style setup like that. Map 2, 10v10 capture the flag. Very Warsong Gulchy feeling. I like that. And actually, I'm just thinking about it. Arathi Basin. 12v12 could be like a very Arathi Basin kind of feel. And Arathi Basin is one of my favorite PvP battlegrounds to date in an MMO. Future plans include a 3-lane MOBA style map after early access. I'm going to say that Eugene and team listened to me specifically on this note. Whether that's the case or not, I don't know. But I'm going to take credit for it, goddammit, because I'm the one that put it in my feedback, and I saw no one else asked for this kind of gameplay in their feedback. So maybe I'm just the only one, or maybe they've had it in plan and I just got lucky. I don't care. I'm taking credit for it because I can. It's awesome. I'm really looking forward to seeing traditional MOBA gameplay. 3 lanes, going down, there's a jungle maybe in between 2 of the lanes, and then you're pushing down towers and forts and getting to someone's core, or a flavor of it in Corepunk world, right? So very, very exciting stuff. They are holding off on doing it, though, until they release more heroes, which we'll roll into after I get on with, honestly, what I think a lot of my friends are going to be excited about. Bastion game mode. Bastion is a new PvE instance Located within a fortress known as the last line of defense between the Valley of Sins and the Kingdom of Ilan. Players must defend against waves of enemies, including bosses, in a tower defense style mode. Gather resources from defeated foes to repair fortress walls and towers during breaks. It's designed for group play requiring teamwork and strategy to withstand increasingly difficult enemy waves. Bastion is targeted for post-early access release as part of ongoing content expansion. And what I gathered from all the stuff I read, and again, I bulletized it. I used GPT to make this a little more consolidated, a little bit more or less paragraphy, is it's tower defense where your team has to communicate and everyone serves a different role. So you're going to have, quasi-attack party members. You're going to have quasi-defense party members. You're going to have to rotate. You're going to have to communicate. You're going to have to watch your flanks. You're going to have to set up cordons. You're going to have to do some strategy. You're going to have to do some thinking. And I look very much forward to seeing this come into realization and being able to test it and play it. Here are some assets that that Artificial Core put out for us to look at that are going to be used in Bastion mode. Take a quick look here. Really good, really pretty, in my opinion. Hope the motif stays. Maybe not necessarily the concept art style, but cloning this into a Corepunk style I think is going to match really well. Like this blue here and the stained glass, having that kind of shine or that nice little gleam, if you will, I think is going to be really cool. Same with this green building here, having that go there. Got some courtyards, some walls. Maybe we can put up some turrets or something to help out with defense, maybe some automation. That'd be real cool. Or have someone in the base while everyone's attacking and doing upgrades or like repairing. I think that's a pretty cool idea. Coming down here some more concept art. Still coming down here, we got some moats. Maybe we can destroy the bridge to, funnel enemies over to the water or over to a different bridge based off of unit type. I don't know. I think there's endless possibilities for what they can do. Statue constructors, so it sounds like we might have some guardians we'll be able to build. Monuments up to 3, so we can build monuments to maybe give us some passive buffs. Looks like there's some mech lab stuff we're going to be able to do with different heads, different arms, bodies, legs, etc. Very excited for that. And now here's the big news I think everybody's been waiting for, and I wasn't the only one that complained about this on the current feedback, but 6 heroes. You read it right. 6 heroes instead of 3, targeting release by early access. Originally, all we had planned were Defender, Commando, and Berserker. They are now adding Sniper, Pyromancer, and Warlock, being ready for us on Thanksgiving. That's huge. Warlock's the one class I've been looking forward to playing the most. I'll probably create a Sniper because snipers are cool. I know Red is going to be a Commando. That's all he's ever talked about. We're probably going to name him Tychus and just feed him kills. Pyromancer's great. I just want to see some people drop some fireballs everywhere, having another tank class with the Defender, and then have some more good DPS with the Berserker. There's endless things. I did find out that the Warlock is going to be kind of a damage over time, heal over time conversion class. So as you dot, you will also heal, but you will only heal people maybe you have a hot on, similar to like how Malfurion plays in hots with the hot, and he deals damage and it heals people. I'm not sure. I'm just speculating here, but really cool. Additional heroes are still planned for post-launch. We're going to begin the Grenadier, Cleric, Crusader, Soul Eater, Hand of the Light, which I hope to God is like an Uther class. That'd be amazing in this game. And an Engineer. Very excited to see what happens with the Engineer. And then, obviously, the overall game overview and early access plans. Their main focus at Artificial Core right now is focused on creating a rich, engaging world with deep itemization, crafting systems, and varied gameplay paths. Improvement of progression systems for precise character customization, and introduction of new content including battlegrounds, dungeons, and ranking systems. Expansion of the open world with different gameplay rules and biomes, each with unique PvE dungeons and instances. All very good things. I really am excited to not just see the open world dungeons, but the instanced dungeons for people to go through with their party and clear. Sounds amazing. And then they did do a quick shout out and thank you to everybody for the ongoing community feedback and testing were crucial to development and how we're moving forward. Although it is a slow grind right now and some of us are burnt out, our feedback that has been provided, the devs are actually taking and fixing and implementing. So that's really good to hear, specifically for a crowd-funded game, a buy-to-play game, non-subscription model. I think the devs are taking the right approach going this route, but we'll see how they do in the long term. Right now, I am very happy with these announcements we just covered and seeing it come to fruition. Corepunk continues to grow and evolve with early access rapidly approaching. And then, obviously, thank you for your continued support and participation in the development process as they threw out. That's all the patch notes for today. As always, thank you all for watching and taking the time out of your days to give me your viewership. Please drop a like and subscribe if you like the channel, and I'll see you guys next time.